There's something curious happening in Philadelphia. While the rest of the league still talks about the Eagles' blockbuster moves, Jalen Phillips, Jair Alexander, Michael Carter II, general manager Howie Roseman seems to be playing a different kind of game. This time, it's not about headline-grabbing trades or big-money contracts. It's about one of those quiet, precise moves that define why the Philadelphia Eagles continue to be one of the smartest and most detail-oriented franchises in the NFL. In the middle of a week, when everyone thought the roster was settled, the Eagles made another surprising adjustment, subtle, almost invisible to the casual fan, but significant to those who know how this organization operates. No press conference, no noise, just another of those quiet Roseman decisions that often end up making a difference when the games start to really matter in January. The team announced changes to its practice squad, and one name, in particular, caught immediate attention: former Atlanta Falcons starter Taquan Graham. But before we talk about it, it's worth understanding how this move came about. To make room, the Eagles had to part ways with a familiar face, one who has been in and out of the facility more times than anyone can count this season. Linebacker Antoine Powell Ryland, better known as APR. Since being drafted in the 7th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, Powell Ryland has lived through a whirlwind of signings, releases, and re-signing, almost like a loop. In fact, he's been signed and released 5 times since August. That alone tells you something. The Eagles still see potential in him, but they don't yet believe he's ready to contribute on Sunday. It's a delicate balance. Roseman and the coaching staff clearly want to keep him close, to monitor his growth without giving up a valuable roster spot. And in that balance lies one of the core principles of this organization: patience with young, promising players, while always being alert to opportunities that appear in the open market. And it was exactly one of those opportunities that brought Taquan Graham to Philadelphia. The 26-year-old defensive tackle was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons in the 5th round of the 2021 NFL Draft out of the University of Texas. Over the past 4 years, he's appeared in 51 games, starting 16 of them. Solid numbers for a player who's built a reputation as a reliable run stopper in defensive rotation. During that span, he's recorded 88 tackles, 13 quarterback pressure, 5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. Not flashy, not loud, but solid. And that's exactly what the Eagles seem to value right now: consistency and dependability. Graham didn't stay unemployed for long. He was released by the Falcons on November 5th after missing a large portion of the season with injuries that limited his effectiveness. According to the Atlanta-based outlet The Falcoholic, his release came as a surprise to many. Even though he wasn't a star, Graham was seen as a dependable part of the Falcons' defensive line rotation, a cost-effective, hard-working interior player. But in the NFL, circumstances change fast. After recovering from injury, Graham found himself buried on a suddenly crowded depth chart. With new coaches, new schemes, and roster spots at a premium, he became the odd man out. What was a loss for Atlanta became an opportunity for Philadelphia, and Howie Roseman didn't hesitate. Bringing in Taquan Graham makes perfect sense for several reasons. The Eagles have been dealing with a wave of injuries along the defensive line this season, and they value rotational depth more than most franchises. Keeping fresh legs and experienced bodies available is essential in a league as physical and unforgiving as the NFL. And Graham fits that role perfectly. A quiet worker who understands his assignments and plays tough, disciplined football. In the 2022 and 2023 seasons, Graham averaged 15 to 20 snaps per game, often making a noticeable impact against the run. During the 2022 campaign, he also managed to log 8 quarterback hits despite limited opportunity, proof that he could bring some pass-rushing value when called upon. Those are the kinds of details that coaches love and that rarely make headlines, but win games down the. Even more importantly, Graham brings something that defensive coordinator Vic Fangio loves: versatility. He can play inside as a traditional defensive tackle or move outside in heavier formation, adapting to different schemes and situations. Fangio has always valued players who can do more than one job, and Graham offers exactly that flexibility. Meanwhile, the move itself once again reflects Howie Roseman's unmatched instinct for roster management. even after a chaotic trade deadline week, when he added names like Jalen Phillips, Jair Alexander, and Michael Carter II. Roseman continues to comb the market for talent, not necessarily the kind that makes headline, but the kind that keeps championship teams deep and dangerous. Because that's the secret behind the Eagles' consistent success. It's not just the big moves, the splashy signings, or the draft day surprises. It's the relentless pursuit of small advantages, the quiet additions that turn into crucial depth when injuries hit, or when the playoffs begin. Taquan Graham may never be the name that fans chant in the stand, but in a league where games are decided by inches, by one tackle or one stop at the line, these are the kinds of moves that matter most. And if history has taught us anything, it's that when Howie Roseman makes a move, no matter how small, you'd better pay attention. Because in Philadelphia, even the quietest moves tend to echo the loudest when the postseason arrives.